I really do like directorial debuts if they're done right. And directorial debuts are probably the most difficult thing to do. Impress the viewers for your first directed feature film. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Olwen, and today I'm going to review the latest horror thriller, The Watchers. This is a directorial debut by Ishana Shyamalan, yes, the daughter of the legend M. Night Shyamalan. And this movie stars Dakota Johnson, Fouere, Georgina Campbell, and Oliver Finnegan. A 28-year-old artist played by Dakota Finnegan gets stranded in an expensive, untouched forest in Western Ireland. Finding shelter, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside with three strangers who are stalked by mysterious creatures every night, known as the Watchers. So, we got a new directorial debut in our hands by the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan himself, Ishana Night Shyamalan. Now, when it comes to M. Night Shyamalan, he is definitely a bright example of one of the most mixed bag directors. He does some great films, and he does some bad films, but he is definitely well known in Hollywood. So when I heard that his daughter, Ishana Night Shyamalan, is taking her father's footsteps in directing films, I was interested. From the trailers of The Watchers, I was interested. I really do like directorial debuts if they're done right. And directorial debuts are probably the most difficult thing to do. Impress the viewers for your first directed feature film. And from the trailers, I was excited for the film. I love the cast, I love Dakota Fanning. The concept of this film is very intriguing, very interesting enough. It's definitely got that Shyamalan flair that I wanted to see. So, I was interested in the film. And I feel like when it comes to Shyamalan, this is definitely a year for Shyamalan. He started directing The Watchers, and we got M. Night Shyamalan himself directing Trap, which I'm also really excited for. So, we got some Shyamalan films coming out this year, and this is the first one, The Watchers. Now, I just want to first give props to Ishana Night Shyamalan for directing this film, because she definitely has a future behind her when it comes to directing films. She does a really good job at directing this movie when it comes to the cinematography. Some of the shots I'm like, yep, she's definitely learning from her father, but she also adds her own flair into this film. And when it comes to the cinematography, the look of this film overall, the color schemes and all that stuff, Ishana Night Shyamalan definitely directed this film very well. You can tell that she has talent, she's still learning, but she's definitely got a future behind her. I think she directed The Watchers extremely well. And I gotta say, Dakota Fanning, I've grown up with this actress. I loved her as a kid from Charlotte's Web and such other child performances like War of the Worlds and Men on Fire. She's a really good child actress, and man, she is still acting. And she is a great actress as an adult. And she is definitely the star of this film. She's definitely the character you mostly root for in this film. She's definitely the best part about this movie. And out of the characters, she's the most interesting character out of the bunch. She has a very tragic backstory in the film that is one of the big plots of the film, and I thought it's developed, in my opinion, very, very well. And Dakota Fanning does a really good performance in this film. Wouldn't say it's her best performance, but she does a pretty good job in this film. But I would say the first two acts of The Watchers, honestly, I was at least intrigued. Yes, the first two acts have problems. The other actors in the film, they're not the best, but we get that in the flaws of the film. But I would say the plot of this film, this concept, is very intriguing. And it shows that in the first two acts where I'm like, okay, who are the Watchers? I was intrigued with the situation that Dakota Fanning is in. And I was basically like invested in the world building that this movie presented. I even liked what they did with the Watchers in the film. Most of the film, you don't see them, but you hear them. And I would say the sound design, the sound effects are really creepy, really well done in this film. Even the score I find pretty underrated in this film. I thought the sound design and the music of the film really does help the film, and just the concept alone, I was at least enjoying the first two acts for it. It's basically surrounding this mystery. Who are the Watchers? What these creatures are? What are the rules of this world that Dakota Fanning is unfortunately stuck in? And I was enjoying the first two acts for it. I'm like, okay, this could have been a matinee price rating. This movie probably wouldn't be as bad as the critics are saying this film is. But then, after the first two acts, where I honestly thought the movie is over, because literally the end of the second act just felt like a third act to me, honestly, the third climax comes in. And this is where I'm going to get to basically my overall thoughts on the film, and probably one of my biggest problems with the film. The third act gave us answers, way too much of it. It just goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, with too much information, and also really bad developed finale and ending to this film that I feel like it just ruins the first two acts, like, suspension completely. Definitely the writing is one of the biggest issues that I had with The Watchers. I think the acting besides Dakota Fanning is very over the top with the other characters in this film. Seriously, Olwen Fouere, I call her literally the exposition woman because every film I've seen her in, she's just exposition person. She explains what's going on, that is it. She has no character development in none of these films I've seen her in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in Terror this year, and in this film. She's basically the exposition lady. There's not much character development with her character, except she's just explaining exposition, what is going on. Georgina Campbell is okay in this film, but there's nothing too special or memorable about her character. But I gotta say, the worst out of them all is Oliver Finnegan. This guy, I'm sorry, I thought he is terrible in this movie. There are so many acting bits with his character in the film where I'm just like, that is not how a human being acts in this situation. And his acting is just really not that good in the film. I know he does Broadway before acting in films. He was Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory musical. That's why I researched and that's why I found. And in Matilda the musical I heard. But in this movie, I'm sorry, I thought he is terrible in the film. The other strangers that Dakota Fanning stumbled upon weren't as interesting than her character in the film. But the third act, with all the exposition, all the answers that the film presented, it just ruins the suspension of the film because the answers are developed so poorly and so messy and so confusing where I'm just like, what happened? With the first two acts being very suspenseful and at least very intriguing because you want to know who the Watchers are, and then when they revealed it, it just completely ruined the whole mystery entirely and it changes the film opinion completely. This is definitely one of those bright examples that I feel like Shyamalan should study more of how to write suspense and all that stuff because she needs to work on that. I think her direction is perfect, it's just the writing because the third act of the film, in my opinion, ruins this film completely. And it turned out to be The Watchers being one of the disappointing films that came out this year, unfortunately. And it's a shame because I like this concept. I really do, and the concept for the setup is really well done. But then, when everything's all revealed, in my opinion, it just ruined the film all completely throughout the third act. Where I walked out of this film going, what happened? I was enjoying the film, and then I was just disappointed throughout the end. I feel like if I had watched this film again, I'll probably watch this film for the first two acts, and then stop it when the third act starts, and I'll be like, that is a much better movie. Literally. After the second act, I literally thought that was the climax. Even though it was a bit rushed, how it did it, I thought it was the climax, and I'll be like, okay, this would have been a matinee price rating. But then the third act comes, and it just bashed this film completely. Overall, guys, The Watchers, in my opinion, is definitely one of the disappointing films that came out this year. I would say Shyamalan does a really good job directing this film for her director debut. I bet her father would be very proud of her, but I feel like the writing definitely needs to be fixed. Dakota Fanning is great in the film, but the rest of the acting is pretty much one-dimensional. The mystery was great until everything is all revealed, and it didn't turn out as suspenseful and thrilling as I wanted. It just became a complete mess overall. The sound design, the music is really good in the film, the cinematography is all there. It's definitely well done in this film. It's definitely a good looking film, that is for sure, but definitely the writing of this film is a complete mess overall, and I gotta say, The Watchers, I walked out of this movie pretty disappointed, to be honest with you. I do think that Shyamalan should keep directing films. She definitely has a bright future behind her, but yes, with the writing of the film, this is definitely some of the most messiest writing that I've seen this entire year. I was honestly pretty disappointed with The Watchers, but the first two acts, at least I enjoyed it for what they were. So I would say for The Watchers, I would give this movie a meh rating.
I mean, it's alright, like...
Well, let's see what her father does with Trap. This is like a battle between father and daughter right now. So guys, that is my review for The Watchers. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? And do you think Shyamalan has a bright future behind her? Let me know that also in the comments below. And which one are you most excited about, The Watchers or Trap? Let me know all those answers in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. keep contacting with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.